The dilemma is, first of all, in society, you can only bring about change. The timing is very important. What do I mean by timing? People don't want to change if the fridges are full, if their living standards are great. Why would you change, right? Okay, the living standard, the fridges are going to be half empty, so the pain factor will set in quite severely over the next year, right? And I think it's very important that we have a civilized approach, that we don't go wild and want to maybe do some changes. We need a civilized approach that we can do it, that we can make changes in a civilized way. So
I think that's a great way to segue into where we start. So as Chris and I sat and we thought to ourselves as as fathers and as leaders and as business owners, it's such an overwhelming concern about the future of Canada with the debt, with the bureaucracies, with the red tape, and with the rising tide of concern and competition. Where do we start? It sounds to me that the Chamber of Citizens comprised of small businesses, it really begins with a new conversation. And this is likely what you've come to call your charter of economic rights and freedoms and responsibilities here in Canada. Can you speak to that a little bit, Frank?
Well, I've always said the human charter of rights alone is not sufficient. We have to fortify it with an economic charter of rights. Economic charters of rights will lead to economic democracies, and economic democracies are the basis for democracy itself. You cannot have democracy unless you get economic democracies. Let me put that in a more simplified way, right? What I would call the grassroots language. All politicians agree, all business people agree. If the economy doesn't work, nothing else will work. If the economy doesn't work, you cannot feed the hungry. You cannot look after the most fragile people, the elderly, the sick, and the handicapped. But we do not talk, strangely enough, what drives the economy. The most important subject is the economy, the economy, the economy. The economy is driven by three forces: smart managers, hardworking employees, and investors. The message I want to get across loud and clear is, without workers, you can't make a profit. It's so clear, it's so simple. Okay? But I think why we don't teach it in schools is the world has always been dominated by the golden rule. The people which have the gold make the rules. Now you don't see the rulers no more. They might be in Hawaii, they might be in Beverly Hills, they might be in Monaco. I would call them the financial elite. The financial elite do not want to share the profits with the working class. That's the dilemma. It's the golden rule. How can we dismantle the chains of dominations?